A day before labor unions began the nationwide strike, the federal government described the industrial action as illegal. In a letter addressed to the leaders of the NLC and the TUC, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, said that the unions did not fulfill the statutory precedents to embark on a strike.
Right, let's bring in Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Oba Maduabuchi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on News Night.
It's always a pleasure.
Yes, here we are again. These are trying times for Nigerians. Let's talk about the issue of the legality or otherwise of labor's strike. Before this strike started, of course, the Attorney General warned that, organized labor's actions were illegal and used quite a number of adjectives to describe this. What's your take?
Well, you see, the Attorney General, the Honorable Attorney General, is a very, very cerebral lawyer. Every lawyer in Nigeria respects him. So when he says it's illegal, he must be properly informed. He must have been properly informed. What I know is that before union can go on strike, one, they declare a trade dispute under the Trade Disputes Act. That is to give the government, the relevant agency, it is not only government, the relevant agency, the opportunity to react to the demands of the union. Now, because of limited information available, we don't know whether this was done, whether they declared a dispute before, after declaring the dispute, normally the minister will set up a committee, which was done. Then they will meet, try to solve the problem. It is when that solving of problem fails that you can now embark on a strike. So I don't know the information the Honorable Attorney General has, which informed his saying that it's, I don't know, because it's...
So away from the legality or otherwise, first, we'll come back to that and leave the Attorney General in this case. As a Nigerian, I would like to get your sense of the strike action in the last perhaps 18 hours. So how does it feel as a Nigerian observing or experiencing the strike action today?
Well, I woke up in the morning. I was supposed to be in court today. And I jumped up, as usual, around 4 o'clock to begin to look through my books. Then my grandchild, who was sleeping with me, said, "Grandpa, I thought you said they are going to be on strike today." So that was when it dawned on me. It's true. There's not going to be any work today. So I waited, and everybody was in the house. My wife was in the house. My children were in the house. And all my neighbors in the estate were in the house. And you see, you have a feeling of helplessness pervading everywhere. And that is informed, in my opinion, by the understanding that labor is right to strike, but government is also right in being hesitant in meeting the demands of labor. So that is why it was some kind of a bit of an enigma to me. I didn't know how to react to it, because things are difficult, very, very difficult. But the government is saying, how do I handle $494,000 for a gate man?
Because ultimately it will affect all of us.
Okay, how do I pay? I have 15 staff. If I pay the man at the lowest paid worker in my office, 400, and one of my staff, Matthew, is about 25 years old as a lawyer, how much will I pay?
Questions begging for
So that helplessness
answers.
you spoke about, how can we elevate ourselves out of that? Because I like the way you put it. To some extent, the government is right, because it's a bargaining process they are in at the moment. But how do we get ourselves out of this, knowing full well that well, we're in dire straits. Labor has a demand, justifiably
Yes.
so, and the government is also right in its haggling, saying, look, I cannot afford
I can't
this.
even discuss this. But let me go back, let me get a little bit back in history. I'm sure you were not born when this time I want to talk about. The first time I heard of salary increase was Morgan Award. That was in 1963. It was called Morgan Award.
Right.
And Michael Okpara was Premier of Eastern Region by then. I was living with my cousin, Godwin Ikevude, in Enugu. I was on holidays in his house, not that I was living with him. So I normally go and buy Gary. I'll go and buy Gary. With 1 penny, you buy like 7 cups. So when they gave Morgan Award, the thing short, the 1 penny could buy 4 cups.
Right.
So what did Michael Okpara do? He set up Adada, what they called agri development projects. In Adada, in Atesuka, in Adani, at Umulopa, Aki, one in Umuleri, and so on and so forth. And within 6 months, Ghana was 24 cups a penny.
From 4
Yes,
to 24.
I bought. So what in 1973 Udoji came.
There was Udoji Award.
Udoji came, and the military governors and the military government of then didn't think out of the box like Michael Okpara did. And it was just pump more money into the hands of the worker. Pump more money into the hands of the worker. That does not solve the problem.
So please help us understand exactly what Michael Okpara did that changed the situation for the better.
He went back to farming.
Right.
He went back to farming. That agri-development project. Everywhere there was, if you went to Nsukka then, the quantity of cassava coming out from Adani and Umulokpa and Bologu side, push the thing down. Because it is not a question of lack of money.
Right.
It's a question of lack of what to buy. If you get my slant.
Scarcity somehow.
It is not. It is the scarcity that is causing the problem, not the money. If I have 60,000 and I can feed myself with 10,000,
Why not?
but it is because that 60,000 cannot buy a family of 5 lunch, breakfast, and dinner. That is
So
what
it boils down to productivity.
exactly.
The lack of it.
It's not.
So whatever measures this government would put in place without the long-term measures will be a non-starter.
If you give them 494,000 today,
Right.
the next year everybody will say
It has to be 1 million.
Yeah, but it
Or
say it has to be
1.5
1 million.
Yeah.
So to me, the question is not minimum wage. It's not minimum wage. But government has to realize that hoes and knives can no longer feed Nigerians. Hoes and knives can no longer feed us.
You have to go into
We
mechanical.
have to go mechanical. There are 774 local governments. How many of them have tractors, harvesters, sprayers? How many? If you have a tractor, what 50 men can do in a day, you do it in an hour.
So now government has gone into a meeting, another
Yes.
emergency meeting with the organized labor, pleading and trying to, just beg, for lack of a better word, organized labor. It's not the strategy that government should be putting in place. But at this time, with the immediacy of this issue now, what does government need to do? Let's even come back to the issue of legality, because that's the reason why we have you here. The Attorney General said, look, the Industrial Court actually barred the NLC and TUC from going on strike. Is that order really still in force?
No,
what can you tell us about that order?
I do not think a court will order NLC not to go on strike. If you go on strike, they can say, stop this your strike. Once you stop it, the law, the order lapses. Let me tell you a funny story. When I was living in Jos, Justice Uloko was the chief judge of Plateau State. And Jusun staff, that is Judicial Staff Union, went on strike. And he sat down, made an order, said they should not strike, blah, 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 blah. There's a museum very close to the court. So the whole staff went down there, finished meeting. From there, they left home. Justice Uloko was in his office waiting for anybody to bring the order for him to sign. The person that would type the order had gone home on strike. The person that would draft the order was with them on strike. So there are certain orders you know reasonably that a court will not make, except it's for cosmetic purposes. And you can't say, just like saying EFCC should not investigate. National Assembly should not legislate. No court can make such, or can properly
not
make such.
Not even the industrial court?
No.
Well, let's see how it pans out, and we're hoping that they will listen to wise counsel, as you've highlighted. They must come to a middle ground in this conversation.
Yes. But then Labour must realize that let them not punish those they think they are
fighting
protecting.
for.
Absolutely. Because if there's something you say, okay, like me, I have 2 secretaries, I just want to go.
Yeah.
That person is in the street.
The president of the Senate said that much on Saturday, and said, look, there's a need to avoid that happening.
If I have 8 lawyers, I'll send 4 away.
Well, we hope he doesn't get that. Maduabuchi, always a delight speaking with you, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you for finding time to join us tonight.